It's the International Workers' Day. Hello and welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be discussing all about workers and the issues that affect them across the country and the globe. We will be right back. It's not the best of times for Nigerians, and the workforce is not left out. For organized labor, the occasion of this year's Workers' Day celebrations is an appropriate time to showcase the many challenges confronting workers. Insecurity remains the greatest problem, eroding the confidence of the workers. The twin issues of minimum wage and attempts to abolish the local government system are battles they feel are just ahead.
There have been attempts by a section of the ruling class to try to kill the national minimum wage by removing it from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent list. This is most condemnable.
Another problem is the electricity sector crisis. We have engaged government on the arbitrary electricity tariff charge to consumers. Our representatives in the Electricity Tariff Committee found that multi-year tariff order was based on some strange assumptions.
Private sector.
Tactical support comes from Nigeria's Labour and Employment Minister, who says the listing minimum wage from the exclusive list runs contrary to ILO convention.
That law is a national law. There is no pick and choose for anybody that falls within the ambit of that law. The governments are subnational in states, and the federal government are bound by that law.
Organized labor says alternative economic policies to concretely grow the economy, retain existing jobs, and create demand for fresh employment are critical to improving the lot of the workforce.
To me, I think we need to thank God for today, that last year was very tough in the labor sector. But this time around, I think we were able to come out today with the prayers of Almighty God, with the support of all stakeholders. I think we are moving somewhere else. So we pray that COVID-19 will never come to this country again.
Once I congratulate the workers for celebrating this day, and I wish them a successful May Day, and I would like to appeal to them that they should remain committed and make sure that each and everyone performs its right duty as it's supposed to be.
Working today does not actually provide what is needed, for somebody to live. So I see that as one major reason why there's so much insecurity, because our youth these days don't see working as a glorious thing to engage in anymore. But I think the government too has a challenge here, to ensure that precarious work and even contract staffing are also eradicated, so that those that get employed will continue to see the value of being employed.
Today I want to send a message to states like Kaduna, Imo, that one of the reasons why insecurity is heightened in their places is because they have made working parents to look like very irresponsible parents by not paying them or by underpaying them. There is a nexus between non-payment of salaries or underpayment of workers and crisis, because it is the workers' salaries that actually run the economy, the local economy. And if the workers are not paid, and so they cannot really fend for, they cannot go to the markets to purchase, then businesses will be affected. So many people, collaterally, so many people who are relying on this, their daily bread, will be lost of what they will be doing.
Will for us to continue to do our job, and I also urge them to be safe wherever they are because of these security challenges in the country. Because electricity workers, especially those who worked in the remote area like Shiroro, Kanji, have serious security challenges, and many of them are being kidnapped. So they should stay safe and avoid those areas that could, hamper their job.
Insecurity COVID-19 does not stop the worker from coming to work or from doing what will move this country forward. So it will not stop the worker, and it will not stop government from looking at the minimum wage of workers, because even the one given before is just an illusion. If you look at the exchange rate now, 30,000 is nothing to take home about. So there's hope for the Nigerian workers, and the government also, there's hope, because we are working hard to ensure that the country move forward.
On the profile interview segment this week, I will be speaking with the perennial president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Aksan Sumonu. He shares his experience on how Labour Day was established in Nigeria and how workers fought for it to be a day worthy of note to celebrate workers and their achievement. We will be right back. You're welcome to the program.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure meeting you.
It's also a pleasure to meet the founding father of the Nigerian Labour Congress.
Thanks so much.
And a lot has been happening in the labour sphere. But speaking on the International Workers' Day celebration, can you tell us what the first experience Nigeria had celebrating the International Workers' Day?
Our first experience was that nobody in government, was concerned about whether workers there or no workers there. They are not concerned about it. But when we got in as pioneer leaders of the Nigerian Labour Congress in 1978, we tried it on a small scale in Lagos in May 1978 to see, to test the waters. But by 1979, when I think it was 1979, we tried it first in May. By that time, the new civilian governments have not arrived there. But that is May 1979. They came in October 1st, 1979. So by 1980, we asked the workers to go on this thing, and 6 states, 6 governors, Lagos State, Jakonde, Oyo State, Old Oyo State, Bola Ige, the Kaduna State Governor, Barabi Musa, the late of late memory, Kano State, the late Abubakar Rimi, the late, and then Jimu Obodo in Anambra, the old Anambra State, and in Borno State, I've forgotten the name of the governor then, declared, they call themselves progressive governors. So those 6 governors, by 1980 declared it. But by 1981, we said that whether it was declared a public holiday or not, no worker should go to work that day. And that was part of why the government of President Shagari declared made May Day a public holiday. Since that time we have been enjoying it as a public holiday. That's how I started Nigeria. Otherwise, nobody bothered.
The celebration of workers that we are enjoying today in Nigeria was not given to labor for free?
No. So it was not on a platter of gold. We struggled for it, we fought for it, and we said that whether they gave or not by 1981, no worker will go to work that day. And as a result of that, and with the initiative of the 6 progressive governors that I mentioned earlier, the Shagari federal government declared it a national public holiday. And since that time, we've been enjoying it. That's how it started.
So can you tell us, so far, has there been any impact with this symbolic holiday? Because it's an holiday for many people, but we still have some workers who would go out and, of course, would have the parade, would have government officials, we have organized private sector also say 1 or 2 things. Can you tell me, has the process really changed?
Yeah, it has changed now into a big, festival, annual festival, I would call it, of workers throughout Nigeria. Because you see, all affiliates of NLC, and they all have different uniforms of their, of their unions or industrial unions, to mark out their members who would take part in the parade, NSA also does that. And I remember in the early 80s, we used to invite the market women. And the late Elijah Magaji, you know, used to lead she once led the women, market women, to a May Day at the National Stadium in Lagos. You know, there were about 200 of them who came, you know, so that in their own uniform to take part in and we used to give them platform. Students Union, you know, leadership of NANS, you know, they used to be invited, and a lot of others that are not direct affiliates of Nigerian Labour Congress.
After all, they are workers too.
Of course, in a way, but also in solidarity, because, you know, whatever affects the nose also affects the eyes in a way. So they will come and in their tens and hundreds, and you know, to come and, you know, show solidarity with the workers.
What impact was it then when we had the student union body and also markets men and women join NLC with one voice? Do you think that this collaboration then also made lots of impact in when negotiation is going on?
No, it made a lot of impact because, for example, when prices of commodities in the market start to rise arbitrarily and so on and so forth, you know, it is through this solidarity that we will get in touch as NSC leaders with the leaders of the market men and women's association to say, look, and then they will tell us why those increases, like, for example, they were being harassed by customs and so on. So NSA will take the matter up, you know, with the necessary authorities to make sure that, you know, prices in the market, you know, became affordable, you know, to ordinary people, so as to make life difficult, more difficult for people. So that collaboration existed. The students, you know, that collaboration also existed, and now by now even some tradesmen like tailors and, you know, who have joined artisans, craftsmen, they are now part and parcel of organized labor. You know, it is through such a collaboration initially that some of them now became, you know, members, official members of the Nigerian Labour Congress for the group protection of their own interests and the interests of their members.
Okay, moving forward, we understand that the May Day celebration is also an avenue for workers to speak out or speak up about any challenge that they are faced with.
That's true.
So now, one of the greatest challenge a worker would be experiencing in Nigeria and across the world would be the one of wage, because we know there should be a universal minimum wage. Can you give us a little brief summary of how the wage workers earn had probably increased or progressed from the inception of the Nigerian Labour Congress, vis-a-vis the challenge we're faced with right now, where some state governors have refused to pay the minimum? Does that negate the purpose of organized trade unions in the country?
First and foremost, any state governor or governor that decide not to pay the minimum wage is violating the law, because it's a law. The government just didn't give us as workers to say, I give you. These matters are, the minimum wage is negotiated. We started with it in 1980, May 1980. When even we went on strike because of minimum wage in May 1981. May 1981, May 12, 11 and 12, 1981. We went on strike. And after during the strike, we were able to negotiate with government, and government team was led by the late Vice President, Dr. Kwame. And I led the Nigerian Labour Congress side, you know, of eminent and even elderly trade unions like the late H.P. Adebola and others. Some of those who did negotiations with us are still alive. So it's after it was, and we insisted that because we started the strike, and we insisted that before the strike was called off, this negotiation should start before the strike was called off. And we insisted that the government side must be led by the Vice President. representing the president, Shagari himself, Dr. Alex Ekweme, the Senate president.
And how much was the minimum wage then?
We got $150. I mean, 150 naira.
And it was almost equivalent with dollars.
Yeah, of course. Naira was even stronger than the dollar at that time.
But
so
right
what
now,
we got that time is higher than what is being, is to be paid today. 30,000. What is 30,000 to multiply 150 by the exchange rate today? You know what it is.
So how do you feel that the minimum wage that an average Nigerian is supposed to earn as the minimum is quite lower than what you first initially negotiated for in 1981? How does that make you feel?
No, it makes one feel very bad, the first time. Secondly, it is a pittance, when you compare it with what we got, but it's still some way. But the fact that, some government still refuse to pay is a violation of the law. In fact, the NSC has the right to take any governor or government to court for violating the law. Because it's a law. It's not something that, it's not a resolution of the National Assembly. It was a law passed by the National Assembly, signed by the president. So it's just a pity, because it is only when it comes to the matter of workers' salaries that you see some of these politicians now say, the treasury is empty. The treasury is empty.
So how would you now react to the recent suggestion at the National House of Assembly stating that minimum wage issues should be removed from exclusive to concurrent lists?
No, we are opposed to it because of the rascality that politicians at state level could play. Look, before, permanent secretaries in the state were earning level 16 as their salaries. Then they also agitated and said, look, if you're a palm sec in Lagos and I'm palm sec at the federal level and I'm palm sec at the state level, we are doing the same type of work. Why should I be paid, my salary be inferior to that of, they rate their own to level 17 that anybody is getting? Why are they not, equating that to say that, well, because their state is poorer, that maybe Lagos than federal, so their own salaries should be less than that of federal.
So what would be your suggestion in terms of an advice to organized labor in ensuring that workers' rights are being protected and workers enjoy decent work?
My suggestion is that these things are justiciable. The governors, NSC should take any government to, or short of that, they could withdraw their service in that state. After all, it's only judiciary and the judiciary workers and other workers who have withdrawn their service that the states are crying. They are crying. They could organize, I would suggest that they go on strike in any state that refuses to pay minimum wage. Or else, to let the state show by reducing, the legislative allowances and salaries, let them, that of the governors, they should reduce their own, assemblymen should reduce their own, and so on and so forth. Why should the workers be the victim of this?
Moving forward, there is this issue of unemployment in Nigeria. During your own time, Nigeria used to be in a place whereby there are a lot of industries that are thriving. What do you think the federal government and relevant stakeholders can do to ensure that we have a robust economy so that we can have more youth being engaged?
There are so many things to fix. First, the power sector has to be fixed. And in their half-hearted attempt to fix the power sector, they privatize, unbundle the power sector into 18 companies. And the money they are spending to subsidize those 18 companies, they didn't spend 10% of it when it was NEPA or power company, PHCN. Two, we have to fix the political equation that also causes the instability in the country. We are running a federal republic as a unitary republic of Nigeria. It's a major, major thing. Because the things that should be bringing in money to the states, to make the states also viable, and competitive, to be able to produce, to do a lot of things. That is held by the federal. And this country is the only federal this thing that is being run as a unity thing. We have to fix that. It's also one of the major causes of instability. One of the causes that put up hip-hop and others like that, and some secessionist voices in the West. Because you are not doing what you do. The constitution we are running now is a military-imposed constitution. And it was shifted from federal constitution to unity constitution. That has to be fixed to be able to actually enable each federating unit to have enough resources to develop, to provide socio-economic, things for their people, and to develop education, human resources, health sector, and other sectors of the economy from the grassroots. But everything is held here in Abuja, and so everybody has to run from all the 36 states to Abuja to whatever. That's not the way. We didn't fight for a unitary form of government in Nigeria.
Okay, so on a final note, what would be your message to Nigerian workers, and what are some of the legacies that you have in hand that you would want for it to continue to live on right now as we speak?
First and foremost, Nigerian workers should not agonize, they should organize. They should defend not only their interests, but also the interests of the Nigerian people and the interests of the Nigerian nation. That is the primary national patriotic duty that Nigerian workers should do. Because left to the politicians, I'm telling you, Nigeria could have gone to the dogs. So we shouldn't let Nigeria go to the dogs because of the selfish interests of the politicians, our political leaders. So, and that they should insist on true federalism for this country, and the return to the parliamentary system of government, which is less expensive, which makes the election of leaders to come from all over without going to the bank or without selling their properties and everything before they get elected. It will also reduce corruption to the barest minimum. So they have to fight for that. They have to fight for social and economic development of Nigeria. The social development includes education, health, housing. Can you imagine the millions of jobs that education could create in the building of schools, training of teachers, and other auxiliary social housing? Why should Nigerians be living in hovels? Agriculture. Well, this government, for example, has done well, in the agriculture, but the insecurity of, these so-called cattle herders and the farmers, let them go and establish right. If you want to, it's a business. Cattle rearing is a business. If you want to rear a cattle, go and buy land and create your this thing and rear your cattle. Don't bother others and don't destroy the crops of others, and so on and so forth. So this is, I think Nigeria has enough human and natural resources to make it possible for Nigerians to have free education at all levels. We have mineral resources.
Education is key towards any form of
human
development.
resources, yes, of course.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure too.
And that's all we can take on to this edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.